right here. Ow! Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family up here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
You see, we dream chase, because that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on? Welcome back to an episode of the Main Thing Podcast Presents. I'm your man, Big Huss, the one you trust, bringing you all your Philadelphia Eagles latest. Now, the Eagles 2025 season is officially over, and now the real work begins. Because when the season ends the way it did, questions don't come quietly, right? They come loud. They come uncomfortable. They start right at the top of the roster. So some questions going around. Is A.J. Brown still untouchable? Is the offense still built correctly? Are the Eagles quietly preparing for a very different looking 2026? Now, look, before we get into it, please make sure that you're liking, you're commenting, and most of all, you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss when me and Mr. Owens drop these videos on y'all. So let's get right into it. The meat and potatoes. Let's start with the story that refuses to go away. According to multiple sources who spoke to the Bleeding Green Nation, A.J. Brown requested a trade multiple times during the 2025 season as early as week 3 following the Eagles' win over the Rams. Mind-blowing, right? Now, why does this matter? Not because trade requests are unheard of. They happen all the time. But because of who A.J. Brown is and is supposed to be within this organization, within this team. Brown is coming off one of his worst statistical seasons since 2021, where he posted career lows with 63 catches, 869 yards, and 5 touchdowns. This season was a little better, 78 catches, 1,003 yards, a little over 1,000 yards, but still far below the standard he set earlier in his Eagles tenure. And more importantly, the tape matches the frustration somewhat, right? Brown looked maybe a step off, struggled to separate like we normally see him doing. And for the first time in his Eagles career, drops became somewhat of an issue. Now, the defining moment came in a wild card loss versus San Francisco 49ers. It's 3rd and 5. Eagles have the ball at the Eagles 40s. 2 minutes and 21 minutes left in the game. The pass hits Brown square in his hands and went right through him. He had finished that game with 3 catches on 7 targets for just 25 yards. Now, look, this isn't just about one drop. It's kind of about more of a season-long trend here, right? Just a lot of antics around AJ. Now, at the Eagles' year-end press conference, Howard Roseman was asked directly about the possibility of trading A.J. Brown. His response, predictable Howie Roseman, stating that it's hard to find great players in the NFL. And A.J. Brown, he's a great player. We're trying to find great players who love football, and he's that guy. Now, as Eagles fans, you're like, man, I love to hear this. Keep Brown here. But it sounds really, and it sounds familiar because we've heard it before. Now, peep game. In January 2021, Howie Roseman, our beloved Howie, right, said almost the exact same thing about Carson Wentz, stating, when you have players like that, they're like fingers on your hand. You can't even imagine that they're not there, right? 2 months later, Wentz was out of there, right? He was an Indianapolis Colt. So when Howie Roseman says that he won't trade great players, the history tells us that statement has an expiration date. Let's just keep it a bean. Even Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts tried to calm the noise. Hurts stating at his locker day clean out, AJ and I have talked. We're in a good and great place. And I believe them. I believe that they are. But here's the problem. Brown hasn't spoken publicly in over a month, skipped locker day clean out, and declined interviews after the playoff loss. When players are happy, they don't disappear. So it's kind of given that there might be a little underlying issue going on here. And maybe A.J. Brown isn't with the Eagles in 2026. Now, the real issue around trading A.J. Brown, outside of, man, he's been a great Eagle, arguably you could say one of the better Eagles receivers that we've had during our time. But it's the real problems kind of surround the money. Now, according to Philly Voice, If the Eagles trade A.J. Brown before June 1st, they would absorb a $43.5 million dead cap hit in 2026. Damn, that's a lot of money. Okay? This would be the fourth largest single season dead cap charge in NFL history per spot track Michael Giannetti. I hope I said your name right, brother. That sounds impossible, right? Just that large figure, but not exactly. We all know how he works magic with them numbers. Now, the Eagles have lived in dead cap space for years. It's how the roster was built. And while trading A.J. Brown would absolutely dent the 2026 cap, the long-term flexibility and the potential for a high draft pick, you know what I mean, high draft return, makes it financially somewhat feasible. So, no, A.J. Brown is not untradeable. The real question is whether the Eagles believe his value is about to decline faster than this contract would allow. Because wide receivers don't age gracefully, right? The frustrations, they accelerate the process. And 1 minute, a receiver may be at the top of their game. Next minute, it's like, what are we seeing out here? Totally different player. Now, while the offensive coordinator changes may matter here, right, this brings us to the offensive overhaul. Nick Sirianni confirmed the decision to move on from offensive coordinator. KP kept him cool after the season, saying that I think it's important that we continue to evolve as an offense. I just felt like that's what I need to do for the best of the football team. And I totally agree. My question to Nick Sirianni is, why so damn late? This should have been happening, right? But Sirianni emphasized that the Eagles are not locked into one offensive identity, but they want a vision, conviction, and player-first leadership. I'm totally on par with that. That's not coach speak. That's admission. This offense failed to maximize its elite talent time and time again this season under the leadership of KP. And when star players feel underutilized, resentment grows, especially when you're not getting the desired results, right? Now, if a player's being underutilized, but you're still blowing teams out, you're still winning games, you're still hoisting that Lombardi, all things are forgiven. But that's not what happened this year. That's not what we saw. Harry Roseman addressed a concern about the coordinator turnover, saying that we have an urgency to win right now. If that comes with losing good people to head coaching jobs, we'll live with that. And I understand exactly what he's saying. This team is still in win now mode, but the margin for error is shrinking, right? We're still in our Super Bowl window. We're still in our dynasty era. And before that era closes, and those eras close fast, ask the Chiefs, we have to right this ship. While the big questions dominate headlines, A.J. Brown's coordinators think of that possession, the Eagles are already laying the groundwork for 2026. They've signed 12 players to futures contracts. Some players, including like Andre Sam, tight end E.J. Jenkins, O-tackle John Ujawaku, and a familiar name, Quez Watkins, just to name a few. Also signing fullback Carson Steele. Now, we ran the Ben Consumer experience. He started off his Eagles career as a linebacker, then transitioned to more of a fullback. We want to run more I formation and use him as a lead blocker, but he's really been unable to stay healthy, been a little injury prone. So bringing in Carson Steele will allow us to still run that scheme as far as lead fullbacks and things of that nature, especially you're talking about lead fullbacks. It's almost like they're extinct. This is dinosaur era for them. Very few, right? But these aren't just splash moves. They're infrastructure moves. Now, safety and tight end are both looming problem areas with multiple free agents. Offensive tackle depth is critical with Lane Johnson nearing retirement. We've seen Fred Johnson did well in his stead, but you still want to get some youth in at that tackle position. We've even added edge rusher Jose Ramirez, a former 6th-round pick with real college production as a low-risk development filter. Now, Ramirez, the edge rusher who had very strong numbers in his final year at Eastern Michigan with 19.5 tackles for loss and 12 sacks. Those are really good numbers. This reduction, it contributed to him being selected by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, like I said, in the 6th round, 196 pick overall in the 2023 draft. Now, he's logged 30 defensive snaps and 40 special team snaps in 4 NFL games played before the Bucs cut him in 2025, later being signed by the Tiger Cats of Canadian Football League, where he played 3 games in the CFL, producing 4 total tackles and 1 sack. Now, Ramirez is he's still a young guy. He's only 26 years old. And pre-draft scouting report via NFL.com, Lance Zerline put this out on him. Ramirez below average run defense can make it difficult for him to see the field early in his career, but he's a blend of a hot motor and natural rush talent that can entice teams willing to continue to develop in both phases. He's agile with the ability to gather and chase with quickness once he finds an advantage in the inside pocket. He can add strength and technique to improve his block take on, but he'll also need to show more grit. Ramirez has the potential to be drafted later on day 3 as a natural pass rusher, always has a shot to grow and become productive pros. So what I'm seeing here is Ramirez is a work in progress. Raw talent, some skill there, but he needs to get with a DC and a position coach that'll bring out the best in him. And what better DC than the Don Vic Fangio? You know what I'm saying? So bring this guy in. Like I said, still a young guy. See what he could possibly grow into. If he blossomed into something great, hey, you just got a big reward on a low risk. If it doesn't work out, then you're not missing anything. Now, Ramirez has gained comparisons to Donovan Ezaraku, former first-round pick of the Dallas Cowboys in the 2025 NFL Draft. And that's good company to keep. Donovan Ezaraku had a great career at Boston College, really turned into a dog and like a sack specialist. Now, A.J. Brown, closing out, A.J. Brown might still be an Eagle in 2026. That is still a very high possibility. But for the first time since he's arrived, it's no longer unthinkable that he very well may not be. The Eagles are evolving. The offense is changing. The front office is clearly weighing hard truths because we are in a win-now mode. Great teams don't cling to yesterday's stars. They move on before the decline becomes obvious. And whether Eagles fans like it or not, that conversation has officially begun. Once again, we are in a win-now mode. And sometimes letting go of your star player is one of your star players. You're not our only star player. One of your star players is beneficial to the future of the team. Then you very well may have to do that because in Philly, we're all about keeping the main thing, and that's hoisting Lombardis. Now, look, hope everyone's having a great week. More videos to come from me and Mr. Owens. Hey, we have a long offseason ahead of us, and we're here to cover it. So make sure that you're tapping in. Hope everyone had a great week. Staying warm. It's snowstorms up by me. It's crazy work outside right now, right? So stay warm, stay blessed, stay safe. If you don't know, hey, I go by Big Huss, and this is the Main Thing podcast where we keep the main thing the main thing. Hey, this flag will fly till we die. Y'all know the vibes. And until next time, we out.
I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. But you know what? I caught that bitch. Dream chasing.